The mist hung low over Loch Muick, curling like ghostly fingers across its glassy surface. It was a quiet morning, the kind where the Highlands held their breath, and the only sound was the soft lapping of water against the pebbled shore. Tam McBride, a grizzled shepherd with 40 years on these hills, had risen before dawn to check his flock. His prize collie Barra trotted faithfully at his heels, her sharp barks cutting through the stillness. By noon, Barra was gone. In her place, beside a jagged outcrop at the water's edge, lay a single, bloodied liver, glistening under the weak Highland sun. Tam stumbled back to Ballater, his weathered face pale as ash, muttering words that sent a chill through the village pub. "It's no fox, no eagle, it's him." The name he whispered needed no explanation. Each Uisge, the water horse of Highland dread. Local authorities were quick to cordon off the loch's southern bank, citing a probable wildlife attack. A young constable from Inverness, new to the area, suggested a rogue wolf or perhaps a feral dog. But the villagers of Ballater, their faces etched with the weight of generations, exchanged knowing glances. Wolves didn't leave a single organ, pristine and untouched, as if placed with care. Wolves didn't vanish without a trace, leaving no paw prints, no scat, no sign of a struggle. And wolves didn't make the air feel wrong, as it did now. A heaviness that pressed against the chest, a faint metallic tense on the tongue. By evening, the whispers had grown into a chorus. The Each Uisge was no mere bedtime story here. In Barletta, where the loch's dark waters mirrored the brooding peaks of Loch Muick, the beast was a living shadow, described in folklore as a shapeshifter. The Each Uisge could appear as a magnificent black stallion, its coat gleaming like wet obsidian, or as a beguiling man with eyes too deep and a smile too sharp. Unlike the Kelpie, its playful cousin known for luring children into shallow streams, the Each Uisge was a hunter. Its hunger was patient, deliberate, and merciless. The tales were as old as the loch itself. If you mounted the horse near water, its skin would turn adhesive, a supernatural snare binding flesh to hide. No amount of thrashing could free you. The beast would gallop toward the loch, plunging into its depths with a soundless grace. And there, in the crushing dark, it would feast. All that returned was the liver, bobbing on the surface like a grim signature. The image was so ingrained that Highland mothers still hissed warnings to their children. Stay clear of strange horses by the water, and if a man calls you to the loch, cover your ears and run. Dr. Eilidh MacLean, a folklorist at the University of Inverness, arrived in Ballater the next morning, her notebook already brimming with questions. A wiry woman with silver-streaked hair and a nonsense demeanour, she'd spent decades untangling the threads of Scotland's myths. The Each Uisge isn't just a story, she told a small crowd gathered outside the village hall. It's a warning born from our ancestors' respect for the lochs. These waters are deep, some say bottomless, and they've claimed more than a few lives. The liver, though, that's specific. It's in the oldest tales, from Argyll to Skye, and it's not the first time I've heard of it in modern reports. Eilidh's words stirred unease. She recounted a case from 1927, when a fisherman's son vanished near Loch Asant, leaving only a liver on the shore. In 1963, a pair of hikers disappeared near Loch Muick. Their campsite was undisturbed, but a ranger found a liver half buried in the mud. Each incident was written off: drownings, animal attacks, misadventure, but the pattern lingered like a stain. The loch gives and the loch takes, Eilidh said, her voice low. But it's the how that makes you wonder. Barletta had its own history with the Each Uisge. In 1842, a travelling merchant was found drowned, his body tangled in reeds, his liver missing entirely. Village elders spoke of a black horse seen grazing near the loch the night before, its eyes glinting like polished jet. More recently, in 2024, a young tourist named Elise Moreau caused a stir when she posted a blurry photo to social media. It showed a tall, barefoot man standing on the water's surface, his silhouette unnaturally elongated, one hand raised as if beckoning. He didn't speak, she'd written, but I felt him wanting me to come closer. Locals dismissed it as a trick of the light, but after Barra's disappearance, Elisa's photo was recirculating on X, shared with captions like Each Uisge sighted, and Loch Muick's awake. Tam McBride, still shaken, refused to return to the loch. Barra was no fool. He told Alistair Greig, a 78-year-old blacksmith who'd lived in Barlator all his life, she'd chase off a wolf or a fox. But this, there was no fight. No sound, just that thing left behind. Alistair, his hands gnarled from decades at the forge, nodded grimly. Shepherds lose sheep, but not like this. No trail, no blood spatter, just the liver. That's its mark. Alistair's words carried weight. He remembered his grandfather's stories of the Each Uisge, told by firelight, how it could mimic a lover's voice, how its hoofbeats sounded like a heartbeat, how it left no ripples when it sank beneath the water. If you see a horse by the loch, he warned, his eyes narrowing, don't touch it, no matter how fine it looks. And if it speaks, run. Don't look back. The village was divided. Younger residents, raised on Netflix and skeptical of old wives' tales, leaned toward the wildlife theory. It's probably a big cat, said Fiona Kerr, a barista at the lochside. They've been spotted in the Highlands before. Panthers, lynx, whatever. A liver's just what it didn't eat, but the elders weren't convinced. A cat leaves claw marks, said Mahari Campbell, a 92-year-old weaver who claimed to have seen the Each Uisge as a girl. This leaves nothing. That's what makes it worse. Despite the official dismissal, Loch Muick's reputation was shifting. Tourism, once a lifeline for Balletta's economy, took a hit. Booking cancellations flooded local B&Bs, and the Loch Muick circular trail, usually bustling with hikers, stood deserted. Yet some saw opportunity in the fear. Ian MacLeod, a savvy hotelier, launched haunted loch tours, complete with twilight boat rides and dramatic retellings of Each Uisge lore. He even advertised Ride the Phantom Horse excursions, though these were just pony treks along the loch's safer paths. It's all in good fun, Ian insisted, shrugging off glares from locals. People love a scare. The elders weren't amused. Mocking, it's dangerous, Mahari warned. The loch listens. Her words echoed a sentiment shared by many, that the Each Uisge wasn't just a creature, but a force tied to the loch itself, a guardian, a punisher, or something older and less knowable. The loch's depths, uncharted even by modern sonar, fueled such beliefs. Divers had tried mapping its floor in the 1980s, but their equipment failed inexplicably, and one claimed to have seen something massive moving in the murk. On the third night after Barra's disappearance, the tension broke. A teenage boy, Lachlan Reed, burst into the pub, his face slick with sweat. He'd been fishing at the loch's northern end, against his parents' orders, when he saw it. A black horse, standing motionless on the shore. It was too perfect, he stammered. like it was carved from night. Its eyes, they weren't right. They followed me. Lachlan swore he heard a voice, low and melodic, calling his name as he fled. It wasn't human. It wasn't anything. His story spread like wildfire. By morning, a small group of locals, armed with torches and iron tools, iron, they said, could ward off the beast, combed the northern shore. They found no hoofprints, no trampled grass, but near the water's edge lay a single fish, gutted cleanly, its liver missing. "It's taunting us," Alistair muttered, gripping his hammer. Dr. Eyelid McLean, who joined the search, was skeptical but intrigued. "Folklore often exaggerates natural phenomena," she said, "but the consistency here, the livers, the sightings, the sense of intent, it's hard to dismiss outright." She planned to stay in Ballatar, hoping to interview Lachlan and dig into the loch's geological history. "If there's a rational explanation, I'll find it," she promised, but her eyes lingered on the water and she kept her distance from the shore. As the days passed, Ballatar settled into an uneasy stalemate. The loch, serene under the autumn sky, seemed to mock the village's fear. Yet no one could ignore the signs. The sudden silence of birds near the water, the way the mist clung longer than it should, the faint ripples that appeared without wind. Some began leaving offerings, coins, flowers, even small carvings at the loch's edge, a practice not seen since the 19th century. To appease it, Meharry explained, to keep it sleeping. But not everyone was so cautious. A group of university students, drawn by the viral buzz on X, arrived to hunt the Each Uisge. They laughed off warnings, setting up camp by the loch and blasting music into the night. By morning, their tent was empty, their gear scattered. A ranger found a single hiking boot, half sunk in the mud, and beside it, a fresh, bloodied liver. The discovery shattered what little calm remained. Authorities closed the loch to the public, but Ballatar knew better than to trust barricades. The Each Uisge didn't need permission. It waited, as it always had, in the deep places where light never reached. Whether the Each Uisge is a relic of folklore, a predator yet unknown to science, or something older and stranger, Loch Muick guards its truth. The villagers, bound to the land and its stories, live with the weight of that mystery. "The loch's always taken more than it gives," Alistair said, staring at the water. "And it's not done yet." For now, Ballatar watches and waits. The mist still rises, the loch still gleams, and somewhere in its depths, something stirs. If you visit, heed the warnings. Don't trust a horse by the water. Don't answer a voice from the shore, and never, ever step too close to the edge. The Each Uisge is patient, and it's always hungry. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, like, subscribe and comment below.